Why does focusing on yourself transform your reality? Because your subconscious mind, controlling 95% of your thoughts and actions, mirrors your inner state into external experiences. When you shift your energy inward, you reprogram limiting beliefs stored since childhood. How? Through conscious awareness, meditation, and emotional regulation, you redirect mental patterns from external validation to internal alignment. This recalibration makes your subconscious work for you, manifesting circumstances that match your elevated inner frequency. In this video, you will learn how to do it. In this video, you'll learn how to reprogram your subconscious one. The power within your own mind. The greatest discovery you can make is that the power to transform your life lies not in external circumstances, but within your own mind. Everything you see in your world, your relationships, your financial situation, your health, is a mathematical reflection of your inner state of consciousness. When you focus on yourself and shift your energy from the outside world to the inner realm of mind, you begin to understand that you are the architect of your destiny. Your subconscious mind is the builder, constructing according to the blueprint you provide through your habitual thinking. It doesn't argue with you. It doesn't question whether your blueprint is good or bad. It simply creates according to the patterns you've impressed upon it through repetition and feeling. This is why focusing on yourself, on your own thoughts, beliefs, and mental patterns is not selfish but essential. Stop looking to others for your good. Stop waiting for conditions to change. Stop hoping that someone or something external will come along and make you happy, prosperous, or fulfilled. The moment you turn within and recognize that infinite intelligence dwells in your subconscious depths, you tap into a power that can dissolve any problem and manifest any desire. A businessman told Dr. Joseph Murphy he spent years blaming the economy, his competitors, and market conditions for his failures. He said, "The market is saturated. The economy is against me. My competitors have advantages I don't have." He was giving all his power away to externals, making himself a victim of circumstances. Dr. Murphy told him, "Your business is not separate from you. It's an outpicturing of your consciousness. When you change your inner world, your outer world must change, for that is the law." The man began to understand that his constant focus on external obstacles was programming his subconscious mind for failure. He shifted his focus entirely. Instead of reading about economic downturns, he affirmed, "I am one with infinite intelligence which knows no limitation. Divine wisdom guides all my business decisions. I attract the right customers, the right opportunities, the right associates." He focused on himself, not egotistically but spiritually, recognizing himself as a channel for infinite intelligence. Within 6 months, his business doubled. The same economy, the same market, the same competitors, but a completely different result. Why? Because he had shifted his energy from without to within, from effect to cause, from the created to the creator within himself. You see, when you focus on yourself, not in a selfish way, but in recognition of your creative power, you stop being a victim of circumstances and become a conscious creator of your experience. The whole world is your mirror, reflecting back to you the image you hold in your mind. Change the image through focused attention on your own consciousness, and the reflection must change. This is not theory, this is law, as dependable as the law of gravity. 2. Breaking free from the prison of other people's opinions. Most people live their entire lives imprisoned by what others think of them. They dress according to others' expectations, choose careers to impress relatives, and make decisions based on social approval rather than inner guidance. This constant focus on others drains your energy and disconnects you from your true power source. Think about it. How much of your mental energy goes into wondering what others think? How many of your decisions are filtered through the lens of what will people say? This external focus is like trying to drive your car while constantly looking in the rearview mirror at the drivers behind you. You're bound to crash. When you shift your energy back to yourself, you realize that others' opinions have only the power you give them. Your subconscious mind responds to your own deep convictions, not to the passing judgments of those around you. What others think of you is their mental property, not yours. You have no obligation to accept delivery of their opinions. A teacher came to Dr. Joseph Murphy devastated because colleagues criticized her innovative teaching methods. She was using creative visualization and imagination exercises to help children learn, but other teachers called her methods unconventional and inappropriate. She was ready to abandon her passion and conform to traditional methods that she knew were less effective. Dr. Murphy asked her, "Whose life are you living, yours or theirs? Whose students are thriving, yours or theirs?" She admitted her students were excelling far beyond those in traditional classrooms. He told her, "Their opinions are their mental property, not yours. Focus on your own vision of excellence. Your subconscious mind responds to what you deeply believe, not to what others say you should believe." She began affirming daily, "I am guided by infinite wisdom in all my teaching. I focus on expressing my unique gifts. Divine intelligence works through me for the highest good of all my students." She shifted her energy from seeking approval to expressing her authentic self. The results were remarkable. Not only did her students continue to thrive, but parents began requesting that their children be placed in her class. Within a year, the school board asked her to train other teachers in her methods. The very colleagues who had criticized her were now required to learn from her. 3. The art of mental and emotional detachment. Attachment is the root of all suffering. When you're emotionally attached to outcomes, people, or conditions, you create resistance in your subconscious mind that blocks your good. But when you practice the art of detachment, not indifference, but a calm knowing that your good comes from within, you open the floodgates of abundance. This doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care from a place of wholeness rather than neediness. You shift your energy from grasping to receiving, from forcing to allowing. It's the difference between holding sand in a clenched fist, where it escapes through your fingers, and holding it in an open palm, where it rests peacefully. A woman told Dr. Joseph Murphy she was desperately attached to selling her house. Every morning she woke with anxiety, checking real estate listings obsessively to compare prices. She called her agent daily, sometimes twice daily, demanding to know why there were no offers. She staged and restaged rooms, convinced that if she could just find the perfect arrangement, the house would sell. "Your desperation is repelling buyers," Dr. Murphy told her. "You're broadcasting fear and neediness. The subconscious mind of potential buyers picks this up, and they feel uncomfortable without knowing why." He instructed her in the art of detachment. Release this house mentally and emotionally. Know that divine intelligence is bringing the right buyer at the right time for the right price. Focus on yourself, on your own peace of mind, not on the house. She began a new practice. Each morning, instead of checking listings, she affirmed, "I release this house to its perfect buyer. Divine order prevails in all my affairs. I am at peace, focused on the abundance within me." When anxiety arose, she immediately shifted her focus from the house to her breathing, to the feeling of peace in her heart. The shift was profound. She stopped calling her agent. She stopped rearranging furniture. She focused on her own life, her own joy, her own projects. Within 2 weeks, she received multiple offers, one significantly above asking price. You see, when you detach from the external and focus on maintaining your own emotional equilibrium, you create a vacuum that nature rushes to fill. Your subconscious mind works best when you're not strangling it with desperation. The same principle applies to relationships. The more you grasp, the more others pull away. The more you need someone to complete you, the more incomplete you become. But when you focus on your own completeness, when you detach from needing others to be or do anything specific, you become magnetic. A man desperate for a promotion was passed over repeatedly. When he learned to detach, to focus on excellence for its own sake rather than for the promotion, he not only received the promotion but was offered an even better position at another company. Let go of the how, when, and through whom. Focus instead on maintaining the feeling of your wish fulfilled, then detach and let infinite intelligence work out the details. The truth is, when you're constantly concerned with others' opinions, you're broadcasting your energy outward like a radio station with no receiver. You're dissipating your creative power in all directions, leaving none for your own growth and manifestation. But when you pull that energy back and focus it on your own growth and expression, you become magnetic. People are naturally drawn to those who are centered in their own power. They respect those who respect themselves enough to follow their inner guidance. Remember this, everybody is too busy thinking about themselves to be thinking about you as much as you imagine. Focus on yourself, on your own connection to infinite intelligence, and let others tend to their own opinions. Your energy is too precious to waste on the impossible task of managing what others think. Chapter 4. Reclaiming your energy from past wounds. Many people are unconsciously donating their life force to past hurts, betrayals, and disappointments. They're so focused on what happened to them that they have no energy left to create what they want. Every time you rehearse an old injury, you're literally feeding it your creative power, keeping it alive and active in your experience. But here's the truth that will set you free. The past has no power except what you give it through your present thinking. The incident is over. The person who hurt you has moved on, but you keep the wound fresh by constantly picking at it with your thoughts. You're the one holding yourself prisoner, not them. When you shift your focus from past wounds to present possibilities, you reclaim tremendous reserves of energy. It's like suddenly having access to a fortune that was locked away in a vault you didn't know you owned. A man came to Dr. Joseph Murphy consumed with bitterness toward his ex-business partner who had cheated him out of $50,000. For 3 years, he'd been mentally prosecuting this man, rehearsing the betrayal, telling everyone who would listen about the injustice. Meanwhile, his own life stagnated. He couldn't seem to get any new venture off the ground. "Do you realize," Dr. Murphy said, "that you're making this man rich with your attention while impoverishing yourself? Every moment you think about him, you're sending him your creative energy. You're so focused on what he took from you 3 years ago that you can't see the opportunities in front of you today." The man protested, "But he wronged me. He should pay for what he did." "He is paying, Doctor," Murphy replied, "according to the law of consciousness. But that's between him and the law. Your business is to reclaim your energy and focus it on your own prosperity. You're letting a past event rob you of present and future good." Dr. Murphy gave him a prescription. Every time this man comes to mind, immediately shift your focus. Say, "I release the past. My good comes from God through countless channels. I focus on the abundance that is mine now." Then immediately think of something you're grateful for in the present. The man struggled at first. The mental habit of resentment was strong, but he persisted. He began affirming, "I reclaim all my energy from the past. I focus entirely on the unlimited possibilities before me now. Divine intelligence guides me to opportunities far greater than anything I've lost." He focused on his own talents and opportunities rather than his grievances. He stopped telling the story of betrayal and started telling himself a new story of possibility. Within months, he launched a successful new venture that far exceeded what he'd lost. More importantly, he felt alive again, energized, creative. The secret is this: your subconscious mind can only work on what you're focusing on now. When you focus on yourself in the present moment, you activate its creative power. The past dissolves when you stop energizing it with your attention. 5. The magnetic power of self-appreciation. Most people are experts at self-criticism, but amateurs at self-appreciation. They focus endless energy on their flaws, mistakes, and limitations, not realizing they're programming their subconscious mind for more of the same. Every self-critical thought is a seed that will produce a harvest of corresponding experiences. When you shift your energy to genuine self-appreciation, not arrogance, but recognition of the divine presence within you, you become magnetic to your good. Your subconscious mind responds to praise and appreciation by manifesting more reasons to feel appreciative. It's a beautiful cycle of ever-increasing good. Think about how you treat a child who's learning to walk. Do you criticize every stumble? Do you say, you fool, you'll never learn to walk properly? Of course not. You celebrate every small step, every bit of progress. You encourage, you praise, you appreciate. Yet with yourself, you're often harsh, demanding, unforgiving. A salesperson told Dr. Joseph Murphy her sales were dismal. She dreaded going to work, avoided making calls, and felt like a complete failure. When Dr. Murphy asked her to describe her mental dialogue, she admitted it was constant self-criticism. I'm no good at this. I always mess up presentations. People don't like me. I'll never succeed. You're hypnotizing yourself for failure, Dr. Murphy told her. Your subconscious mind is faithfully producing exactly what you're impressing upon it: failure, rejection, unlikability. You must reverse this pattern. He instructed her to keep a success journal. Every evening, she was to write down at least 5 things she did well that day, no matter how small. Made a phone call despite feeling afraid, write it down. Smiled at a difficult customer, write it down. Completed paperwork on time, write it down. Additionally, she began a morning practice of self-appreciation. Looking in the mirror, she would say, I appreciate my courage in pursuing my dreams. I appreciate my persistence. I appreciate my unique talents and abilities. Divine intelligence works through me, guiding me to right expression and abundant success. The shift was gradual but profound. As she focused on what was working rather than what wasn't, her energy transformed from defeated to confident. She began to notice opportunities she'd been blind to before. Customers responded to her differently because she was responding to herself differently. Within 2 months, she became the top performer in her company. But more importantly, she discovered the secret of magnetic power. What you appreciate appreciates. When you focus loving attention on yourself, your gifts, your growth, your inherent worth, the universe responds by bringing you more to appreciate. You see, self-appreciation isn't vanity or conceit. It's alignment with truth. You are a unique expression of infinite intelligence. There's no one else in all the universe exactly like you. When you appreciate yourself, you're appreciating the handiwork of the infinite. Start now. Focus on something about yourself you can appreciate. Your subconscious mind is listening, ready to multiply whatever seed you plant. 6. Dissolving energy. Leaks through mental discipline. Your mental energy is like electricity. It needs to flow through proper channels to be effective. Most people have countless energy leaks: worry, gossip, complaining, arguing, comparing themselves to others. These mental habits drain the very power needed to create the life you desire. It's like trying to fill a bathtub while the drain is open. When you develop mental discipline and focus your energy on constructive thoughts, you plug these leaks and build tremendous creative power. Every thought you think either adds to your energy or depletes it. There's no neutral ground in the mind. A doctor told Dr. Joseph Murphy she was exhausted despite sleeping well and eating properly. She couldn't understand why she had no energy for her own life outside of work. I'm drained by 5 o'clock, she said. I have nothing left for my family or my own interests. Dr. Murphy asked her to observe her mental activity for one day. she discovered she was leaking energy through constant mental arguments. On the drive to work, she argued mentally with difficult patients. During lunch, she rehearsed conflicts with colleagues. At home, she mentally debated with insurance companies. Even in bed, she was fighting battles in her mind. "You're exhausting yourself with shadow boxing," Dr. Murphy told her. These mental arguments accomplish nothing except depleting your creative energy. Every mental argument you conduct is energy that could be building your dreams. He taught her the principle of mental discipline. The moment you catch yourself in a mental argument, immediately shift your focus. Don't fight the thought. That's more energy leak. Simply redirect your attention to something constructive. She developed a practice. Whenever she caught herself in mental conflict, she would immediately affirm, "I now shift my energy to divine love and harmony. All my relationships are governed by divine intelligence. I focus my power on creation, not conflict." The transformation was remarkable. Within a week, she noticed her energy returning. But something unexpected happened. Her difficult relationships began to improve. The patients she'd been mentally arguing with became more cooperative. The colleagues she'd been battling became allies. You see, when you're mentally arguing with someone, you're sending that argumentative energy into the relationship. They feel it subconsciously and respond defensively. But when you shift your focus from conflict to harmony, you change the entire energy field between you. Another major energy leak is comparison. A businessman constantly compared himself to competitors, to colleagues, to his brother-in-law. This comparison drained his creative energy and kept him focused on what others had instead of developing his own unique gifts. Dr. Murphy told him, "Every moment you spend comparing yourself to others is a moment stolen from your own creation. Focus that energy on yourself, on your own growth, your own unique expression." The principle is simple but profound. Where attention goes, energy flows. Mental discipline means consciously choosing where to direct your attention. Focus on yourself means directing your mental energy toward your own growth and goals rather than dissipating it in fruitless mental activities. 7. The alchemy of emotional transformation. Your emotions are energy in motion. When you're focused on others' behavior, external conditions, or what's lacking, you generate emotions of frustration, anger, and fear. But when you shift your focus to your own inner world and your connection to infinite intelligence, you can transform any emotion into its higher counterpart. This isn't suppression, it's alchemy. Every emotion contains raw power that can be redirected. Anger contains the energy of determination. Fear contains the energy of excitement. Jealousy contains the energy of desire. When you focus on yourself rather than on what triggered the emotion, you become an alchemist, transforming base metals into gold. A woman came to Dr. Joseph Murphy consumed with jealousy over her husband's success. He had just received a major promotion while her own career had stagnated for 3 years. "I should be happy for him," she said, "but I'm eaten up with resentment. I hate myself for feeling this way, but I can't stop." "Don't try to stop the feeling, Doctor," Murphy told her. "That's like trying to stop a river with your hands. Instead, redirect it. The energy of jealousy is the energy of desire turned outward. Turn it inward. Focus on yourself." He explained that jealousy occurs when we see in another what we want for ourselves, but instead of using that recognition as inspiration, we let it become poison. Your husband's success is showing you what's possible. The same intelligence that promoted him can promote you. She learned to catch the feeling of jealousy and immediately shift her focus. Instead of thinking, "Why him and not me?" she would say, "His success reveals what's possible for me. I now focus this energy on discovering my own unique path to success. I rejoice in all success, knowing it demonstrates the abundance available to all." She used the intense energy of jealousy as fuel for action. Every time the feeling arose, she would immediately do something to advance her own career. Make a phone call, write a proposal, learn a new skill. She was literally transforming the energy of jealousy into the energy of achievement. Within a year, she launched her own thriving consulting business, but more importantly, she had learned the secret of emotional alchemy. She said to Dr. Murphy, "I realized my jealousy was really my soul's way of telling me I was playing too small. It was calling me to focus on my own expansion." A man struggling with intense anger toward his father learned to transform that anger into determination. Instead of mentally rehearsing his grievances, he would say, "I now use this powerful energy to create the life I desire. I focus on myself, on building something magnificent." The same energy that had been destroying him through resentment became the driving force for building a successful business. Remember, emotions are just energy. You can't destroy energy, but you can transform it. When you focus on yourself, your own growth, your own connection to infinite supply, you become the director of this energy rather than its victim. You shift from reaction to creation. 8. Building an impenetrable aura of self-sufficiency. True prosperity and peace come when you realize you're self-sufficient in the deepest sense, not isolated, but connected to the infinite source within. When you constantly look outside yourself for validation, supply, or happiness, you're like a tree trying to draw nourishment from other trees rather than through its own roots. But when you focus on your direct connection to infinite intelligence, you become unshakable. Most people live in constant fear because they believe their good comes from external sources, a job, a person, an investment. When you believe your supply comes from outside, you live in perpetual anxiety about losing it. But when you know your true source is within, you develop an aura of calm confidence that nothing can penetrate. An executive told Dr. Joseph Murphy he lived in constant terror of losing his job. He worked weekends, never took vacations, and agreed to every demand, no matter how unreasonable. "If I lose this job," he said, "I lose everything. My mortgage, my children's education, my entire future depends on keeping this position." Dr. Murphy said, "You're worshipping a false god. Your job is not your source. It's merely a channel. God is your source, and God has infinite channels. You're like a man dying of thirst while floating on a freshwater lake because you're focused on one particular cup." The man protested, "But this job pays my bills." It's very real, not some spiritual concept. "The money is the effect, not the cause," Dr. Murphy explained. "The cause is consciousness. When you develop consciousness of self-sufficiency through your connection to infinite supply, channels open everywhere. But when you cling desperately to one channel, you actually constrict the flow." Dr. Murphy gave him a daily practice. Every morning before work, sit quietly and affirm, "I am self-sufficient through my connection to infinite intelligence. My supply comes from the inexhaustible source within. I am a channel for infinite abundance, and infinite abundance has countless channels to reach me. I focus on the source, not on any particular channel." The transformation was remarkable. As his fear dissolved, his entire demeanor changed. He stopped acting from desperation and started acting from inspiration. His work improved dramatically because he was no longer paralyzed by fear. Ironically, he received not just a promotion but also unexpected income from several other sources. A forgotten investment matured, a relative left him an inheritance, a side project he'd abandoned was suddenly purchased by a company. "When I stopped clinging to one channel," he told Dr. Murphy, "abundance flowed to me through channels I never imagined." This is the paradox. When you need nothing from the outside because you're focused on the infinite supply within, everything comes to you. People want to hire, befriend, and partner with those who radiate self-sufficiency. Opportunities seek out those who don't desperately need them. Build this consciousness daily. Focus on your connection to the infinite source within. Know that you are self-sufficient in the truest sense, one with the power that creates and sustains all life. 9. The sacred practice of energy conservation. Just as a wise investor conserves and compounds capital, you must learn to conserve and compound your mental and emotional energy. Most people scatter their energy in 1,000 directions, worrying about world events they can't control, engaging in fruitless debates, maintaining draining relationships. But when you focus on yourself and become selective about where you invest your energy, you build tremendous reserves of creative power. This isn't selfishness, it's wisdom. You can't give from an empty well. You can't lift others when you're depleted. The airplane safety instruction is profound spiritual truth. Put on your own oxygen mask first. A nurse told Dr. Joseph Murphy she was completely burnt out. "I give everything to everyone," she said. "My patients, their families, my own family, my friends. They all need me. By the end of the day, I'm empty. I have nothing left for my own dreams." "You're violating a fundamental law," Dr. Murphy told her. "You're spending principle instead of interest. You're giving away your core energy instead of giving from overflow." She protested, "But caring for others is my calling." "How can I say no when people need me?" "You're not truly helping them when you give from depletion," Dr. Murphy explained. "You're giving them tired energy, resentful energy, obligated energy. When you conserve your energy and give from fullness, you give them vital, healing, loving energy." He taught her the practice of energy conservation. Before engaging in any activity or conversation, she would pause and ask herself, "Will this energize or drain me? Does this align with my highest good? Am I giving from fullness or from emptiness?" She learned to recognize energy drains, the friend who called only to complain, the relative who criticized every decision, the committees that accomplished nothing, the news programs that left her anxious and powerless. She didn't cut these off with anger or judgment. She simply redirected her energy. When the complaining friend called, she would say kindly, "I have 10 minutes and I'd love to hear what's going well in your life." When asked to join another committee, she would say, "That sounds important, but I'm fully committed to other priorities right now." She began investing her conserved energy in activities that restored her: meditation, creative writing, nature walks. She discovered that when she focused on filling her own well first, she had more to give others, not less. Within months, something remarkable happened. She had energy to pursue her dream of writing, eventually publishing a successful book about healing. Her patients commented on her renewed vitality. Her family relationships improved because she was giving from joy rather than obligation. "I realized," she told Dr. Murphy, "that exhaustion was my way of avoiding my own dreams. As long as I was depleted from giving to others, I had an excuse not to focus on myself and my own calling." The principle is clear. When you focus on yourself first, you don't become less giving. You become more powerful in your giving because you're giving from fullness rather than depletion. 10. Living from your center of power. The ultimate shift happens when you stop living from the periphery of your being, always reacting to externals, and start living from your center, where infinite power resides. This center is your conscious union with infinite intelligence, your recognition that the same power that moves the planets and grows the roses is working through you. When you focus on yourself in this deepest sense, you're not being egotistical. You're acknowledging the truth that you are a center of divine operation, a point through which infinite intelligence expresses itself. From this center, you don't struggle or strain. You simply know that your good is assured. Most people live their entire lives on the surface, tossed about by every wind of circumstance. They're up when things go well, down when they don't. They're confident when praised, devastated when criticized. They never discover the unshakable power that lies at their center. A businessman came to Dr. Joseph Murphy after losing everything in a bad investment. His life savings, his retirement, his children's college funds, all gone in a single devastating loss. "I'm finished," he said. "At my age, I'll never recover. I've lost everything." "You've lost money," Dr. Murphy corrected him, "but you haven't lost the power that created that money in the first place. That power is still at your center, waiting to be recognized and released. Focus on yourself as a spiritual being, not on yourself as a bank account." The man was skeptical. "Easy for you to say? You haven't lost everything." "Everything external can be lost," Dr. Murphy replied. "But your center, your connection to infinite intelligence, can never be lost. It can be ignored, forgotten, denied, but never lost. Focus there and you'll rebuild greater than before." Dr. Murphy taught him to go daily to his center through meditation, not to beg or plead, but to recognize and accept the power already there. Each day, he affirmed, "I am centered in infinite abundance. I am not my bank account, my possessions, or my circumstances. I am a center of divine operation, and divine intelligence now works through me to restore my fortune in miraculous ways. From my center flows all I need for a full, prosperous life." He stopped looking at external conditions and focused entirely on maintaining his consciousness of abundance. He refused to accept the appearance of loss as the final reality. He knew that at his center he was forever connected to infinite supply. New opportunities appeared as if from nowhere, but really they came from his center. A former colleague called with a business proposition. An idea he'd dismissed years earlier suddenly revealed its potential. Skills he'd forgotten he possessed became valuable in unexpected ways. Within 18 months, he had not only rebuilt his wealth, but exceeded his previous success. More importantly, he had discovered something that could never be lost: his center of power. "I'm actually grateful for the loss," he told Dr. Murphy. "It forced me to discover who I really am. Now I live from my center, and nothing external can shake me." This is your invitation. Shift your focus from the circumference to the center, from effects to cause, from the created to the creator within you,